Peace and blessing, everyone. For those of you who saw my video on free will, this is the validity of the Bible aspect of that. Now, my thing isn't necessarily to invalidate the Bible. My only thing is staying in the truth and evaluating the Bible in a way, uncompromising truth, and bringing unequal belief to it. Once again, speaking of free will, and if we really have free will, because Christians usually hold that to validate God's punishing us for the things we do or actions, sending us to hell because of knowing right from wrong and doing wrong, because He gave us the ability to make those choices. He gave it to us, hoping that we make the correct ones, and if we don't, we get punished accordingly. But I stated, I don't really believe we have true ability to make those choices at times. So, for one, why should we be punished? And if that's what the Bible is based off of, if that's its foundation, then you have to question the validity of the Bible. So first, let's go with Adam and Eve. Now, if you take the Bible literally, and you are absolutely truthful with the Bible, if you have read the Bible, and I know there are many Christians, many Christians, who have not read the entire Bible, and you know who you are. You know who you are. Many of you. If you read the Bible, there are many contradictions. There are many things that don't seem to go together and make sense. And of course, that can be chalked up to, God in His infinite wisdom ways. Things are the way they are, and that's the mystery of existence, mystery of the Bible, because God works in mysterious ways. All right, and it's done for a reason. But in using our limited intelligence, if you will, and we examine it, being truthful, once again, uncompromising truth, there are contradictions and there are things that just don't fit together and make sense. Fine. And those things necessarily, once again, they might not invalidate it, because truthfully, maybe God is doing things in a certain way for a specific reason that is going to benefit us in the end. But once again, taking that away, we start from the beginning, Adam and Eve. Now, if you look at the story of the world in existence from get-go, it was flawed. We were doomed. We were literally doomed from the very beginning. So what was the point? What was the point of God bringing us into existence when, once again, when we didn't exist? There was no need to. Once He did, this creature that He brought into existence will be punished forever. Remember, hell is eternal. You do something wrong, you break the laws, you go to hell for eternity. Forever and ever you get punished. Forever. Now, okay, so once again, it's flawed. So it starts with Adam and Eve, and they are the first ones to have free will. They had the ability to choose between right and wrong, to make a choice and decisions. Now, the flaw of that story is that in having them in this garden, He puts them in a situation to make a choice from the get-go. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge, because if you do, you will pay for it. You will get punished. Now, you had these two first beings who, for one, people say they're perfect. Well, if they're perfect, then having a choice and ability to do wrong, to me, eliminates perfection. But that's debatable and whatever. Okay, so they're there, and basically there's a temptation for them, right? He puts this temptation there for them, and they have the ability to act on this temptation. I mean, he gave this ability to them. It's in them. It's in their DNA and their wiring that they can make a choice. And so, by nature, they will be inquisitive. All right. I was told not to do something, but why? What is that? I've tried all this other fruit here in the garden, but I can't eat of that. Why is that? How does that taste? Is it better than all the rest of the fruit? How delicious is that? I wonder. Wow, what will it do? And I said, I will get punished, but what does that mean? What will happen when I get punished? Is that a bad thing? This are things that will have to transpire. And then, along with that, of course, he allows Satan to come into the garden and further tempt them. Once again, we're taking these beings who will have to be ignorant, meaning lack of knowledge, not knowing, and he's put them in a situation where they have to make a decision. They have to be ignorant in some way, or else they would know exactly what punishment they would get. They would know that Satan is tempting, well, Eve, and that she can't do that, because they will have to know that they're going to get, that they will cause the punishment of all generations after them. But they did know this. You have to assume they did know this, because Eve said, well, okay. She listened to Satan. Once again, she's sitting there and Satan is telling her, well, no, you should do this. And the only reason God said not to do this is because of this. You know what? Once again, she's sitting there and she's listening. Okay, well, I hear what you're saying. Wow, is that right? And so, you know, I'm literally talking about if someone's sitting there being told something by another person or thing or being about, hey, you should try this. And I know somebody else said not to, but think about this. And not knowing and not experiencing before, they would be inclined to try it and experience it. Part of learning. So anything, like I said, that just shows a great flaw. And again, once again, it could be true, and it could happen for a reason, but it just shows a great flaw in just all of our existence, because we are doomed from the beginning. If it's true that all humanity is punished because of what Adam and Eve did from the beginning, then it's flawed. Of course, then we say Jesus Christ came and eliminated that, but you can still go to hell. Okay, so staying with the free will. Now, Christians use the free will debate to justify why homosexuals are going to hell, because homosexuals make the choice to be gay. Now science tells it differently. I mean, if you know a homosexual, you talk to one, if you talk to them, they can tell you they have known since they were a child that they were attracted to people of the same sex. They just knew it. They felt it. Just the same urge you get to want to be with that person opposite sex. They have that urge to be with the person of the same sex. And it's the same urge, the same strength of urge, meaning as much as you don't want to be with the person of the same sex, they don't want to be with a person of the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? They have the same urge as you do, same desire as you do, going a totally opposite way. So once again, and science says it's shown and proven that people who are gay are born that way. So that takes away the free will aspect. They don't freely choose to be homosexual. You can say they freely choose to commit a homosexual act, to do that act, but it's in them. That's who they are. And to not commit the act is to go against who they are, the urge in their body to do such a thing. And so it was Christians saying they are going to be punished for eternity in hell for this, for having consensual sex with another person of the same sex, and that this act is on par with punishment for eternity as someone who commits a murder. Now, intellectually, that doesn't make sense. Once again, hey, God could be working in mysterious ways, and it could be true. But if you just stop to think, if you examine it with uncompromising truth, unconditional love, and unequal belief, then it should change your whole view. If you look at the Bible, once again, if you look at the Bible truthfully, there are many questions to be answered. And if you've seen my videos before, I spoke of, we are given the ability to interpret the Bible, right? That's what we have to do. We have this book and we must interpret it. We must interpret it exactly what these rules and regulations and laws and what these spiritual things mean. And if you interpret it in one way, you come out with all these problems. If you interpret it literally, you come out with all these problems. But if you change your view, if you change your thinking, and you start applying unconditional love, and uncompromising truth, and unequal belief, well, then it changes what the Bible means, what it's about. Because once you do that, once you want to have unconditional love for someone, then you don't want to condemn them to hell forever for an act of sex. You don't. Well, you shouldn't. I mean, that's true love to me. If I love you, why would I think you should be punished forever for doing a consensual act that is not hurting anyone, and that you are on par with someone who murders someone? To believe that's not love to me. Love is that, hey, God made you that way. You were made that way. Right? So how can you justifiably be punished for that? Truth is, you are made that way. Uncompromising truth, you're made that way. So, in unequal belief, I will have to believe that when the Bible speaks of homosexuality, it is not really speaking of a man and a man not having sex, and a woman. You know, even though that's an issue that it really only talks about two men laying down together. Mankind laying down mankind as not as they would with womankind, but never speaks about two women being together. But I digress. So, to me, to interpret that in a unequal belief, in supreme belief, in the best way possible, well, then you will have to interpret it in a metaphysical way, and saying that when it speaks of homosexual, it is speaking of having the like-minded mental ideas of material and physical thought, concentrating on the material and the physical realm, on that which is fleeting and passing, instead of having thoughts on our true being, our true self, which is spiritual. Our God aspect of us, that power of God within us. That's is what we should be focusing on. That which is eternal. That is our spirit and the God part of us within each and every one of us. That's where our thoughts should be focused, on just how much power we have if we connect back to God, be one with God. You know, there's what the big thing out right now is called The Secret, the movie and the book. And I want to see the movie, but it's supposedly the whole thing is about that what we think we can be. If you want to be rich, then you think about being rich. You want to be happy, then you think about it. So in many things around us, we know and we learn that we have great power in our mind and how we think, in our thoughts, and what we believe. So then the question is, how great can you believe? Why just want to believe and think about being rich? Think about being happy, and everyone being happy, in this world being happy. Increase your belief, supreme belief. Believe in heaven on earth. Again, why believe here when you can believe up here? Why stop? Why stop? If you're going to believe, then believe. God bless. Peace and love.